Welcome to Suns Valley Podcast, everybody. Tons of news lately. Trade rumors, Kevin Durant to here, Kevin Durant to there. We've got the Warriors interested in Kevin Durant. We've got the Mavs interested. We've got Jimmy apparently recently saying that he's ready to come back and play for the Heat. No problem. Fences mended. And apparently the Suns are flipping Valanciunas. Beal gives us an update on whether or not he's willing to take this trade clause away. Sundo, let's start with Valanciunas. You've long wanted him with the Suns.
Man.
And it seems like that's the most certain of any of these things to happen. But they're saying they're going to get him and trade him away immediately for some bigger package. What do you have on that?
Yes, as you said, the more for sure thing is that Nurkic is getting traded to the Wizards for Valanciunas. I imagine we'll probably throw a second their way because it's this, we got to dump that salary somewhere. And then we're going to immediately flip him for more assets. Now, I believe it was Gambo, maybe it was Evan Sitter. I can't remember who it was. I'm going to give Gambo the credit because that's our guy, Gambo. But it was said that Valanciunas would be flipped. And there's rumors that it's going to be more of a 3-team, 4-team deal also as well. There's a lot of things out there, but you're right. It seems to be the one thing that is for sure, Nurkic is gone. So that's the one thing that Suns fans can rejoice about. Nurkic, you're out of here. We can all be happy about that. But the details on it being a 4-team, 3-team deal, or maybe it's just a 1-for-1. I know that the Bucks have to get involved to trade Middleton also to the Warriors for Kuzma. There's that out there as well. So, yeah, it's just really weird. But for me personally, as you mentioned, I'm a big Valanciunas guy. I would just much rather keep him and then, I don't know, trade Mason Plumlee. I know Bud loves Plumlee so much, as you like to say. That probably won't happen, but that'd be my preference. Keep Valanciunas, bro. I just feel like he's a better talent than Plumlee, but doesn't seem to be the case. He'll be here today, gone tomorrow, literally.
Yeah, it is crazy that we're going to get him potentially here and just get rid of him after we've been wanting him for so long, and we would both prefer him over Plumlee, but Coach Bud is not even playing Nick Richards. He's playing Plumlee over him. Whenever games get tight and he thinks, we got to do what we got to do to win, Plumlee is his answer. So, if you can't get minutes for Nick Richards, how are you going to get minutes for Valanciunas? So, whatever. I'm going to trust that it's a part of a bigger plan, right? You're saying there's another bigger package. We're going to probably see that sooner rather than later. So let's get straight into Jimmy talk. We didn't get a chance to talk about this. I just saw this on Twitter before we clicked record. And apparently he's willing. He's trying to mend fences and go back to the Heat. I think he sees what's coming, which is there is no trade on the horizon probably for him. And that's why the Suns are actually entertaining letting Kevin Durant go. And maybe it really has to do with there being a lot of truth, more truth to Beal's recent report that he is not taking his no trade clause away. Like he's like, yeah, you don't want me? Well, guess what? I'm here to stay. It's a weird situation. I don't know if I've ever seen this before, but
no. It's like first it started with Beal, right? And the Suns saying, hey, we're going to bench you and we're going to try to move. Well, they didn't say that to him, but they're going to bench you. We feel like it'd be better coming off the bench. And the rumors are coming out that they wanted Jimmy Butler. And Jimmy Butler says, my heart's in Phoenix. I only want to go to Phoenix. That whole thing, getting different shoe colors, dyeing his hair orange, so on and so forth, to now all of a sudden Kevin Durant's gone. It's been a crazy ride this past few months for the Phoenix Suns and Suns fans, where we thought we were getting Butler for sure. We thought Beal was going to be gone. Apparently Beal said, nah, I'm good. I'm staying. And so now Jimmy Butler's like, well, I guess I got to go back and with my tail between my legs and apologize to Pat Riley for all the BS I've been doing the past few weeks as well. And then all of a sudden, teams are calling about Kevin Durant. That seems to be the report is Suns don't get Butler, Durant's gone because Beal's staying. And you said it before we went live, like Bradley Beal, as much as me and you love Bradley Beal, he's got to be probably the most disliked Sun right now to other fans, where they're just upset that he won't waive that clause and they want him gone bad. But looks like Kevin Durant's going to be a casualty because of it, and Kevin Durant's going to be gone to, oh man, the rumors are Mavs, Rockets, Warriors. Like, that's a Western Conference rival that you're gonna end up trading him to, and that's gonna be not good for Suns fans because they're gonna feel some type of way about that. But this whole thing is just, it's been a crazy last 3 hours for sure. Every report that's coming out, it's just been nuts.
Well, there's some confusion, right? Because we've heard that he's saying he's not going to do it, but the way I read it, honestly, is it hasn't been brought up. He hasn't had the conversation. I think what they were saying is the conversations haven't happened yet about him dropping his no trade clause. So I think that it could still be on the table that once a deal gets in place, once they find a place to move Beal to, they'll come to him. I don't think that it necessarily read like that, man, that he's saying absolutely not. Or is that how you read it?
That's how I've read it, for sure. There have been no talks. And I mean, that could go either way. Have there been no talks from the Suns? Or is Bill not even attempting to talk to the Suns about it? You know what I mean? It could be taken either way. I'm taking it the latter. There have been no talks. Like, Bill's like, nah, I'm not even going to entertain this right now. I am comfortable here in Phoenix. My family just relocated from Washington, where I thought I was going to be for the rest of my career, to now I'm in Phoenix. I don't want to uproot my family. He's a family guy. I just think that's the stance he's taking. And to be fair, as a family man myself, I don't blame him. Can't disagree with him. If he wants to stay, he wants to stay. The Suns made the bed. They're going to have to sleep in it. Kevin Durant, you'll have to be the one to be moved. And, just thinking about it in the future, I don't think I would mind a Beal and Booker-led Suns, as long as there's plenty of young pieces around them. And moving Kevin Durant is definitely one way to get that done. So,
we'll have to... It'll be left up to your own interpretation. I think the Suns are just waiting until there is something to bring it to them. Why would they have talks if there is no deal that's been accepted?
Because you got to know if he's going to do it, though. You know what I mean? That's the kind of thing. It's like why entertain it if you don't know he's not willing? If you don't know he's willing to. You know what I mean? They could be like, hey, we talked to the Heat. We have this awesome deal. Do you want to go to Miami, please? And he says yes. But also, why would you waste your energy if you know he's not willing to waive it at all? So you could take it both ways. I feel like he's just not waiving it. So they're not going to do anything about it. But
let's move to Kevin Durant trade rumors, because listen, it all came out of nowhere. Like, a few days ago, it was a non-starter as far as fans were concerned. But after losing back-to-back to the Blazers, and a lot of fans don't quite comprehend how good the Blazers have turned themselves into, winning, 8 out of their last 9 games, something like that.
And
so people are extra frustrated, like, how could you lose to the Blazers? I don't think it's the worst losses we've had all season, but a lot of people do. And they have every right to feel that way if they want to. So people are ready to move off of Kevin Durant. That's the fan side of it. But apparently, since the Jimmy Butler talks are stalling out or just not moving the way they haven't been moving, every day they're calling, trying to get this to happen, and it isn't happening. We've got less than 48 hours, I would think, here before they need to have it happen. Maybe they're realizing, okay, that's not going to happen. So this team still doesn't work, and we need to get paid for Kevin Durant before he goes the way of Chris Paul. When Chris Paul turned 37, it doesn't have to be 37 for Durant, but for whatever reason, the day he turned 37, literally, he fell off the face of the earth as far as talent and ability to be available. Suns don't want that to happen again. I loathe the idea of losing KD. But we're learning, right? We're 2 years into the future, 3 years almost into the future after moving off of Mikal and Cam, and we feel differently. Maybe it's time to pay attention to ourselves in the future and take care of our future down the road.
Yeah, that's where I'm at with it. If these rumors are that Butler's not coming in, so KD's being dealt, you have to just stop compounding the issue of getting older, and yes, invest in Devin Booker, who by the way just broke the all-time Phoenix Suns scoring record. So he is, you could argue, the greatest Phoenix Suns ever at this point. So keep building around him. You have Bradley Beal's a good complementary piece. You just got Nick Richards that could be a center for the future. Ryan Dunn, a good young piece for the future. Also, just get yourself some draft capital, some young pieces to build around, to put around Booker, and build this team for the future. Because honestly, I don't know what even happens with this team if you get Butler now, especially this season. Like, we're 500. Like you said, we just lost 2 straight to the Blazers. We have OKC coming up tomorrow or today, whenever, depending on whenever you put this out. Like, if we're being honest, do we see ourselves winning that? Especially now that we know KD's not even playing all of a sudden because of an ankle injury all of a sudden that comes out of the blue, the day before the trade deadline. I find that a little, convenient there. So, I mean, I don't see this team really making a push in the playoffs this year. So you might as well, it just, for me, and I think personally, just get rid of KD, get yourself some capital. I know Suns fans don't want to hear this. I know they're so invested ever since the NBA Finals run 4 years ago, which hurts. 4 years ago is crazy that was only, like, that hurts to say, but ever since that, Suns fans have been hungry for a championship, and I get it. And the KD trade made it seem like, oh my goodness, we're here, we're in it, but clearly something's wrong. Clearly we're not in it, and Matt Ishbia sees that, and he's trying to make the changes. One of the changes was Jimmy Butler. That doesn't seem to be happening. So the other change has to be this Kevin Durant that you need to get off the books. Because actually, the rumors are also, doesn't sound like he's going to resign because he doesn't like what the future looks like for the Suns either. You took a gamble. Now it doesn't seem like it's working out. Right. And you can't blame him. Yeah, I absolutely don't blame him. Like, hey, I'm also, like you mentioned, getting ready to be 37. I want to get one more. If I'm not going to get it here, then let me go somewhere else. And so I don't blame him at all. So you should probably, honestly, in my opinion, ship him, get what you can.
Do the Warriors have anything that interests you right now?
I mean, the rumors are Draymond's out there.
I believe it because crazy. Of the Michigan State connection, but I hate that.
Absolutely, I agree because of the Ishbia connection, and I don't hate it. But Draymond Green's the type of player at his stage of the career that you're going to add to a team that is competing. I feel like you get Draymond, it doesn't really. And you trade KD and you get Draymond in return, I don't feel like that changes or sways the team in one way. I don't think it's a huge impact. Now, he does bring some toughness. He will bring defensive prowess. He will bring grittiness, which is something that this Suns team needs very much so, really needs. But it also doesn't, I don't think it moves the needle to me. Does it move the needle to you?
I feel like my dislike of him is tainting my view of the potentiality of getting him, where I could see him having an outsized effect on this team that I don't believe in because I just don't like him and I can't see that clearly. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, he is in the same vein of a Chris Paul a-hole or a Jimmy Butler a-hole who's going to keep people accountable, which is ingredient that the Suns need and that we've been asking for. I mean, people even wanted Patrick Beverley because he does a lot of the same sorts of things on a lesser scale. So that is absolutely not the genesis of this deal. He's a part of it. There are picks. I'm saying minimum 2 picks. I'm trying to get 3 picks, and Kuminga needs to be in the deal.
That's the other rumor too. So,
okay,
for sure.
and
Kuminga and
that's where we start.
For sure, that's where we start. But honestly, the pieces aside, Kuminga, Draymond, some picks, all that aside, Draymond does end up here. Like, come on, bro. You know how he is. If he does end up here, he will be so bitter that he got traded. That he will bring in the edge. And I think you'll end up loving him. As much as you dislike him, I think you'll end up loving him. I like Draymond. I've always liked the way he's played. I hate playing against him because he's an issue when we play them. But I've always liked Draymond minus his ability to conveniently find his foot on a man's private section somehow, some one way or another, or punching Nurk in the face. Besides all that,
Right.
I do like Draymond Green, but again, that move doesn't move the needle. But if it's part of a package, like you said, for Kuminga, Draymond, some picks, yeah, I couldn't turn that down either. I think that would be really good, to push for the next few years. So, yeah.
What do you think about the Rockets as a
the
trade
reports
partner?
the reports are now that the Rockets are going to give their young team a chance. So it sounds like they're not, willing to mortgage.
They want Devin
Kevin
Booker.
Durant, right? It sounds like they would want some more of a Devin Booker. That's off the table. That's not happening. So we can just forget about that. But the Dallas Mavericks rumor, now that one, that's a little funny to me. Like, I know the Mavericks got rid of Luka, so they might be able to give us some capital. But man, just like trading KD to the Dallas Mavericks, man, that just doesn't set right with me, especially with the rivalry, how it's grown in the past few years with Luka being there and the daddy Luka memes that we've seen. That just doesn't feel right to me. But is there anybody on the Suns? Is there anybody on the Mavericks that you would potentially want if Kevin Durant does move there?
Certainly.
Any pieces? Josh Green.
No, remember, he's with the Hornets.
That's right. You're right. That's right.
But no, I mean, one of their centers, they've got Gafford and they've got Lively. I think.
But again, okay, fair enough. I do like
either of them would be an upgrade.
But okay. But then again, are they going to play, to your point earlier, because Plumlee's been getting more time
they play over Plumlee. They are not the same as Nick Richards. They are clear upgrades over those two. They start, and Bud accepts that, I'm certain.
Yeah.
Nick Richards has been a lifelong backup center, so he gets a little bit more leeway with that sort of decision. But it's about, to me, picks. It's about getting picks out of it. I want to have a future that we can be excited about.
Absolutely.
If in fact we have to give up this fruitless chase for a championship, then I'm willing.
It's about the picks, and it's about being able to take the multiple picks that you got in the trade earlier with the Jazz, and then getting more picks from KD. And then if there's a prospect you really like, then you can take those picks and then move up and go get that prospect to pair with Booker. Again, I know, at least in our community of Suns fans in our live streams, there are a lot of Booker doubters in those chats. And I sometimes I get it. A lot of times I get it. A lot of times I'm just like, are you kidding me? The dude's still a super solid player. Like, I would like to see what this team would look like if they did build around him and get a good, solid defensive wings, defensive center. You know what I mean?
We were on that.
We were on that trajectory, and then we got Chris Paul, and we saw what it looked like. I'm just saying that that seems to be the recipe. That's all I'm going to say. And so, let's just hit that reset button, do it again, see what happens, get some picks, get some young players, and take it from there. But
meanwhile, you've got a couple of really great veteran scorers in Book and Beal can stay hot and help keep the team afloat and everything. But it doesn't sound like we're going to be winning anything anytime soon if that's the route we go. And that's not what Matt Ishbia wants to do. Matt Ishbia is the dude who crashes out at the casino. He doesn't walk away with a loss. He wants fast, sweeping change to make things work if they're not. I just don't think he's going to do a slow rebuild. I can't see him in that light.
No, I don't think he's gonna do a slow rebuild, but you don't need to do a slow rebuild when you have Devin Booker and Bradley Beal on your team. Like Devin Booker is enough to get you enough scoring, enough offensive firepower to build around. So, and Bradley Beal is good too. All you need around those two are good defenders and a decent center. Like you've already mentioned it. Similar to what you had in that 2021 finals team that you blew up, by the way. And it seems like you're going to revert back to that here pretty soon. It's kind of crazy. But
you were telling me how much money we save just from getting rid of Nurk's deal and KD's deal. If both of those guys get moved, you're out of the second apron, and you're still the Phoenix Suns. The Phoenix Suns that Kevin Durant said, I only want the Suns. I want to play with Devin Booker. And then Bradley Beal says, I'll only waive my trade clause to play for the Suns. And then Jimmy Butler says, I only want to go to the Suns. So you're still that team out of the second apron. Who's to say other stars in this league aren't going to be like, so they have money now? They're out of that albatross of a contract? Like, yeah, I want to be with the Suns because I know if I go there, it's a great, beautiful city. I can play with Book, who's a guy that everyone seems to like and want to play with. He doesn't have much beef with many players in the NBA. And you know you're going to get paid because Matt Ishbia busts the check out for realsies. Okay, he's not playing around. He's going to pay you. He's going to lock you up as long as you want to be locked up, basically. So it doesn't have to be all bad. It's just scary.
I mean, yeah, it's just scary because there's just going to be a lot of unknown out there, and you're going to have to depend on Devin Booker. And it seems like, again, in our community, people just don't want to do that. They seem to forget that he was your main source of, scoring in that finals run. You did have CP3 and Ayton, but Devin Booker was the guy. Get me a point guard.
Well, you have a point guard. And Coach Bud doesn't want to play him at that position. He wants Devin Booker to play point guard. So what does it matter if we bring a point guard in?
You're probably right about that.
Like if Lonzo comes in, is he going to allow Lonzo to run the point, or is he going to say go stand in the corner and knock down threes?
I think you get a point guard like Lonzo Ball. You let him handle the ball. Sorry. Right. I think you do because it's Lonzo Ball. Here's the thing about Tyus Jones. Love Tyus Jones for sure. He handles the ball. But he's not Lonzo Ball. You know what I mean? Like Lonzo Ball is in every sense a facilitator. So yes, I think you let Lonzo Ball handle the ball. But still, give me a point guard in the future, a good one. Give me a good center in the future. Man, it just sounds like I'm just saying it again. Just bring me back to 2001, please.
That's what you want.
2021.
You want the time stone.
2021. Not only want the time stone, but like. That model with Monty was a good team. You had a great defensive wing. You had a good backup coming off of the bench in Cam Johnson for him. Then you had a good veteran power forward in Jay Crowder. You had a young center who at the time, DeAndre Ayton was efficient then, and you had a point guard in CP3 with Devin Booker being your main scorer. That was a good formula. All you had to do was build around it. You blew it up. It seems like you're just trying to go back to that again. So that's how I feel.
I guess the lesson here, everybody, is the grass is not always greener on the other side. And you learn that in life sometimes. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. We'll see you for our next live stream, which will be against the Oklahoma City Thunder. Do you even want to show up for that?
No.
Okay, I will not blame you if you don't, but we'll be there with smiles.
No Kevin Durant. Ugh.